If you are struggling with writing anxiety, then practice writing. In this video, I'm going to talk about how treating writing as a practice and thinking of your work as a writer as practice can help reduce anxiety. What is anxiety? It's a neurophysiological response to perceived potential dangers. Anxiety has two crucial intellectual impacts on a writer. One is that it focuses attention on the danger and takes attention away from the project itself. If you spend 10 seconds thinking, I'm going to get rejected, that's 10 seconds that you didn't spend thinking, how can I make my manuscript better? So anxiety distracts you from the work. Secondly, anxiety inhibits the prefrontal cortex, where logical reasoning and imagination largely happen. Whether you're a poet or a philosopher, if you're writing fiction or you're writing fact, you need both logical reasoning and imagination to figure out how to tell your story well. Anxiety may also cause upset stomach, shortness of breath, or other physical symptoms that interfere with writing, but usually the intellectual symptoms are the big problem for writers because, again, they distract you and they inhibit the parts of your brain that you really want operating to write well. What are the potential dangers of writing? Well, the most obvious danger, I think, for most writers is that of rejection, that their work will ultimately be rejected. But any perceived danger can trigger writing anxiety. If someone thinks they face a serious problem, they may feel anxiety, and anxiety is itself a serious problem for many people. Many writers have many different fears, so it's entirely possible for you to think, my career is doomed, and also think, I still haven't figured out how to fix that sentence, third sentence in the second paragraph of my fourth page or whatever. So you can have many different fears, and all of them can contribute to anxiety. And then once the anxiety kicks in, your imagination is inhibited and you're distracted from your problem. So you're distracted from your work. So any potential danger is a problem if anxiety is a problem. We want to reduce anxiety by practicing writing. When talking about practice, I'm talking about regular, repeated activity aimed at developing and/or exercising a skill. We want to focus on learning and skill improvement in practice, not on the outcome. The musician practicing scales isn't trying to create a great performance. The musician practicing scales is developing and exercising their skill. Similarly, we want to approach our writing in the similar vein. So we're not thinking about potential rejection in particular. We just want to think about what we can learn. A writing practice wants to focus on developing ideas and on putting those ideas into words on the page. Ultimately, writing is about communicating ideas. The poet, the nonfiction writer, and the fiction writer all have ideas that they want to share, and those ideas are crucial to the work. This is not to say that you can't benefit from also trying to develop technical skill. For example, doing exercises that will help you better use a comma, or doing written exercises that will help you expand your vocabulary. Whatever you're doing in practice, you want to experiment. Be willing to make mistakes and then learn from those mistakes. The point of it being practice is that you get to see what's going on, but other people do not. So don't think about publication in your writing practice. Once you've started to become more confident in your writing, and once your practice has produced some good early drafts, then you can start thinking about taking those early drafts and transforming them for publication, which is a more stressful and an anxiety-inducing activity. It's important to make sure that your writing practice is a healthy practice, and this primarily means that it is low suffering and it minimizes negative reinforcement. If you sit down to write and you spend an hour of excruciating agony trying to write, it's going to be harder to write tomorrow. And naturally tomorrow when you sit down, you'll remember the agony you experienced today and you'll feel some anxiety about that. And then the anxiety will interfere with writing. So it's important to make your practice low suffering. It needs to be gentle, but it also needs to be regular and persistent. You need to keep coming back to your writing because writing is hard and it takes a lot of effort. Now, a lot of effort and things that are difficult are not necessarily no suffering, but they can feel rewarding. So we want to be regular and persistent, but also gentle so that we don't suffer too much. Ultimately, writing can feel uplifting in the same way that many difficult tasks can feel uplifting. An athlete may love their sport, but they still have to work at it. Writing, too, can have the pleasure of doing it well if you develop this regular and persistent and gentle practice where you're pushing your abilities, but not to the point of pain. You want to be also patient because changing your emotional responses takes time. You might feel some reduction in anxiety in moving from thinking about writing for publication to thinking about practicing writing. We hope that you gain some immediate relief by shifting your focus and your context. But in the long run, we want to build confidence, a foundation of confidence in your practice that allows you to deal with the more difficult projects like writing for publication. We want to recognize that practice will build comfort and familiarity. Every time you write a sentence or a paragraph and you can say, that wasn't too bad, I could do that again, you're building comfort and confidence as a writer. You're saying, I could do this again. And that's what we want in a practice, to repeat and work again. Additionally, every time you practice, every time you write a sentence, you become slightly more familiar with writing and how to write about your ideas. And familiarity is also calming and comforting. You know what to expect and there are fewer unpleasant surprises. When you're writing about a topic you've written about before, you have better ideas of what phrases to reuse or use or refine. So both familiarity and comfort help you come with practice and help you reduce anxiety. Additionally, practice builds skill. The more new sentences you write, the better you get at writing new sentences. The more new paragraphs you write, the better you get at writing new paragraphs. As you get better at writing, you can write more higher quality material in less time. If you're producing more higher quality material in less time, you'll feel more confidence in your ability and therefore less anxiety. You want to practice first and then prepare for publication once you start to feel less anxiety. If anxiety has been interfering with your writing, then you want to work on practicing. If you've been paralyzed by anxiety, don't sit staring at your most important project saying, I've got to get this perfect right now so I can submit it. That's going to increase your anxiety and probably be a painful and unproductive experience. Instead, if you're feeling anxiety, just try and practice writing ideas related to the project. Practice writing notes about the most important aspects of your project. Experiment with different ways of telling your story. Rewrite the first sentence of a section a few times in different ways, write different outlines, write about the project without trying to write the project. Keep practicing to build confidence both in the story you want to tell and in your ability to tell it. As you build more confidence, you will reasonably start thinking about publication once again. So, to summarize, anxiety is triggered by perception of danger, like rejection or some personal failure. Anxiety takes attention away from our project and focuses it on the problem that we perceived, which is often not the project itself. And anxiety inhibits our imagination and logical reasoning. A gentle, regular practice can help you build skill, comfort, and confidence as a writer. You want to be patient and persistent because the changes that you get from practice happen through long-term repetition and reinforcement. As you build confidence and as your anxiety ebbs, you can start thinking about publication again. But if you're struggling with anxiety, practice. Thanks very much for watching. I hope this video has been helpful. If you found it so, please like and subscribe. Comment, let me know what you liked, what you think I missed. Thank you very much for watching.